good old Sunday. Nothing to do but lazy around and read the Sunday paper.
Remember rushing home to catch the Flintstones? That Stone Age family that made prehistory feel like suburbia? This wasn't just TV's first primetime cartoon.
The paper! Catch!
It was absolutely unhinged behind the scenes. Today, we're counting down 20 jaw-dropping facts about Bedrock's first family that'll make you see Fred's Yabba Dabba Doo in a whole new light. 20. The Honeymooners' lawsuit that almost killed everything. Jackie Gleason nearly sued the Flintstones out of existence for blatantly ripping off the Honeymooners. Fred was Ralph Cramden, Barney was Norton, and the plots were carbon copies with dinosaurs. Gleason's lawyers prepared a devastating case until he watched the show with his kids and realized suing a cartoon would destroy his image. He privately told Hanna-Barbera, "You owe me," but never pursued legal action. Years later, Gleason admitted he was flattered by the homage. The Flintstones survived because Jackie Gleason didn't want to be the guy who killed Saturday morning cartoons. 19. Winston Cigarettes owned. The first season, Winston Cigarettes didn't just sponsor the Flintstones, they literally owned it, with Fred and Barney smoking Winstons in commercials during the show. These weren't separate ads, but integrated scenes where the characters took cigarette breaks while doing yard work.
Cigarette. Tastes good like a cigarette should.
The original opening had Fred and Barney sneaking behind the house to smoke instead of working. When the show went to reruns, they had to rotoscope out cigarettes from dozens of scenes. This was a kids' show where the main characters pushed tobacco. The FCC changed children's advertising laws specifically because of the Flintstones' nicotine connection. 18. The show was almost the Flagstones. The Flintstones were originally the Flagstones until literally the last minute before airing. The name change happened so late that promotional materials had already been printed. A comic strip called The Flagstones threatened legal action, forcing an emergency rebrand just weeks before premiere. Voice actors had already recorded Flagstone in several episodes, requiring expensive redubbing. The theme song had to be rewritten overnight.
Let's ride with the family down the street, through the courtesy of Fred and Pete.
Merchandise manufacturers lost thousands on rejected Flagstone products. The fossil record shows the Flintstones almost went extinct before they even evolved. That last-second name change saved television history from a terrible geology pun. 17. Barney's voice died and nobody noticed. Mel Blanc voiced Barney Rubble until a near-fatal car accident in 1961 left him in a coma for weeks. Dawes Butler secretly took over for multiple episodes while Blanc recovered, and nobody noticed the switch. Blanc later returned but recorded from his hospital bed, lying flat with a microphone suspended above him. The producers built a custom recording studio in his bedroom. Blanc's first line back was Barney laughing, which he nailed in one take despite barely being able to speak. The show never acknowledged the switch, and most viewers still don't know Barney temporarily had a different voice. 16. Fred and Wilma were TV's first couple in bed. The Flintstones showed the first married couple sharing a bed on American television, beating even live-action shows. Previous TV couples slept in separate beds due to censorship rules, but somehow, a cartoon about cavemen broke the barrier. Network executives figured Stone Age people wouldn't have had twin beds, making it historically accurate. Mary Tyler Moore and Dick Van Dyke were still in separate beds, while Fred and Wilma spooned. Moral guardians protested a cartoon showing marital intimacy before humans could. The Flintstones normalized bedroom scenes that real actors couldn't perform. Yabba Dabba breakthrough. 15. The laugh track was from dead people. The Flintstones used canned laughter recorded in the 1950s, meaning most people laughing were deceased by the time the show aired. The same laugh box tracks appeared in multiple episodes, creating eerily familiar patterns viewers unconsciously recognized. Sound engineers called it ghosting the audience because dead people were laughing at new jokes. One distinctive laugh belonged to a woman who died in 1958, but her cackle lived on through 1966. The machine that played these laughs, the Mackenzie repeater, became known as the haunted box among technicians. Bedrock was literally built on the voices of the dead, making every joke a seance. 14. Pebbles destroyed. The show's dynamic. Adding Pebbles Flintstone fundamentally broke the show's original premise of adult situations in prehistoric times. Merchandise demanded a kid character, but writers had no idea how to write baby storylines. Ratings dropped 30% the season after Pebbles arrived because adult viewers felt betrayed by the kiddie focus. The original head writer quit, saying, "We went from honeymooners to Brady Bunch with rocks." Joseph Barbera later admitted Pebbles was purely a toy-selling decision that damaged the show's integrity. The pregnancy episode drew 68 million viewers, but it marked the beginning of the end. Pebbles made money, but killed the magic. 13. The Great Gazoo was network sabotage. The Great Gazoo, that floating green alien, was deliberately added to tank the show because it was becoming too expensive. Networks wanted out of their contract but couldn't cancel a hit, so they forced impossible creative changes. Harvey Korman voiced Gazoo, knowing it was career suicide, but needed the paycheck. Writers were explicitly told to make it unwatchable without being obvious. The alien appeared in only 13 episodes, but destroyed 6 years of world building. Ratings crashed 40% immediately after Gazoo's introduction. Hanna-Barbera successfully killed their own show to escape ABC's brutal contract terms. Sometimes jumping the shark is intentional. 12. Wilma's voice actress fought real sexism. Jean Vander Pill voiced Wilma for the entire series while fighting for equal pay she never received. Male voice actors earned triple her salary despite having fewer lines. She wasn't credited for the first 2 seasons and had to threaten legal action for recognition. Vander Piel was prohibited from mentioning she was Wilma in interviews without studio permission. She continued voicing Wilma for 40 years through specials and spin-offs, never receiving residuals. When she died in 1999, she was living on Social Security. The actress behind the most famous cartoon wife ever died nearly broke. Bedrock had a glass ceiling made of actual stone. 11. The animation recycled constantly. Hanna-Barbera reused the same running animation of Fred 4,127 times throughout the series, just changing backgrounds. Every character had only 8 mouth positions for all dialogue, creating uncanny repetition. The famous house running sequence appeared in 67 episodes with different colored skies. Budget constraints meant animating only 2,000 drawings per episode versus Disney's 14,000 per short. Animators called it planned poverty, where they deliberately made it worse to save money. The same dinosaur appliances appeared in every kitchen scene, regardless of plot. The Flintstones pioneered cost-cutting techniques that made anime possible. Recycling wasn't environmental, it was economical. 10. Fred Flintstone was genuinely abusive. Fred's treatment of Wilma wasn't funny, it was textbook domestic abuse that somehow got laughs. He constantly threatened violence, screamed at his wife, and gaslit her experiences. Multiple episodes featured Fred scheming to hide money from Wilma or lying about finances. The show normalized marital deception as comedy, with Fred's anger played for laughs. Child psychologists in 1962 warned about Fred's dangerous example for fathers. Modern syndication cuts dozens of Fred's worst moments that were considered normal in 1960. Watching unedited episodes today reveals a genuinely disturbing relationship dynamic. The modern Stone Age family was teaching Stone Age values about marriage. 9. The sponsors demanded real products. The Flintstones featured Stone Age versions of actual products that sponsors demanded, creating bizarre prehistoric capitalism. One-a-day vitamins became one-a-day rock tablets, with Fred taking actual branded pills. McDonald's paid for McBoulders references before Happy Meals existed. Busch Beer created Busch Clamato, specifically for Flintstone commercials. The show invented prehistoric versions of 200 real products, pioneering product placement. Writers had to incorporate 3 sponsor products per episode into storylines naturally. This wasn't subtle advertising. It was aggressive brand bombardment disguised as comedy. The Flintstones proved cartoons could sell anything if you added rocks to the name. 8. The theme song had cursing. The original theme song recording contains Alan Reed, Fred, clearly saying shit after flubbing the yabba dabba doo line, which stayed in for decades. Audio engineers in 1987 discovered the curse during digital remastering, but left it in. The Meet the Flintstones version covered it with instrumental layers, but isolated vocals reveal the profanity. Reed recorded 47 takes of the theme, getting progressively angrier and more vulgar. The final version uses take 31, right before Reed completely lost it. Careful listeners can still hear "son of a" cut off in the driving sequence. Primetime's first animated theme song was accidentally NSFW. 7. Dino wasn't supposed to talk. The pilot episode featured Dino as an intelligent speaking character voiced by Mel Blanc, doing Jerry Lewis. Network executives hated talking Dino so much, they demanded his intelligence be removed entirely. The second episode literally gave him brain damage to explain why he became a barking dog dinosaur. Blanc recorded 40 minutes of Dino dialogue that was completely scrapped. The character's devolution from articulate to bark happened without explanation in canon. Merchandising wanted a pet, not another character, so Dino got lobotomized for toy sales. 6. Betty Rubble was designed as eye candy.
Copy to the air freight counter. Poor things, they'll have to be locked up in cages.
Betty Rubble was deliberately designed to be the sexy one, with her short dress and giggle, based directly on a dancer producers knew. Her original design was even more revealing, but censors demanded changes to her hemline and neckline. Voice actress Bea Benaderet was instructed to make Betty sound breathy and available in early episodes. Animation cells show Betty was drawn with more detail and care than other characters. Her walk cycle used twice as many frames as Wilma's to emphasize her hips. 5. The racial segregation. Nobody mentions Bedrock was entirely white until season 4, when pressure from civil rights groups forced integration. The first black character appeared for 8 seconds in 1963 and was never seen again. Native American characters were portrayed as savage Indians with broken English in multiple episodes. Asian characters appeared as offensive stereotypes running a Chinese laundry with buck teeth and thick accents. The show's creators later admitted they deliberately kept Bedrock segregated to avoid Southern affiliate problems. Reruns have cut 17 episodes entirely for racist content that can't be edited out. 4. The mob connections. In production, the Flintstones' completion bond was allegedly financed by East Coast mob money laundered through animation production. 3 background artists were actually no-show jobs for connected families. The Teamsters Union controlled distribution, taking a cut of every syndication deal. An FBI investigation in 1964 found irregularities but no prosecutable evidence. Joseph Barbera's autobiography mysteriously omits 2 years during Flintstones production. Voice actors were told to never discuss certain visitors to the studio. 3. The suicide episode. That aired once, the rock quarry story featured Fred contemplating jumping into the quarry after losing his job, complete with a suicide note. The episode aired once in 1961 before being pulled forever after complaints. Fred stands on the edge, saying goodbye to Wilma via a stone tablet while Barney tries to talk him down. The scene goes on for 3 uncomfortable minutes of genuine despair. Censors somehow approved it initially, thinking it was dramatic character development. No copies supposedly exist, but bootleg recordings surface occasionally at animation conventions. 2. The Flintstones predicted their own death. The final original episode, The Gravelberry Pie King, contains multiple references to the show ending, hidden by writers as a farewell. Fred literally says, "This is the end," 3 times, while Wilma mentions 6 wonderful years. The plot involves Fred's success destroying his relationships, paralleling how success killed the show. Background elements spell out "goodbye" in various scenes using rocks and furniture. The animators drew themselves into crowd scenes waving farewell. 1. The Lost Adult Flintstones pilot. Before the family-friendly version, Hanna-Barbera produced a 90-second adult pilot called The Flagstones, featuring Fred at a strip club. This pilot showed Fred and Barney getting drunk on cactus juice, ogling cave women, and coming home to furious wives. The animation was cruder, the jokes were sexual, and Fred actually strikes Wilma. Only 5 people have confirmed seeing this pilot, locked in Hanna-Barbera's vault. The studio denies its existence, but Joseph Barbera's estate mentioned it in probate documents. From cigarette scandals to mob money, from talking dinosaurs to nuclear holocaust theory, the Flintstones wasn't just revolutionary television, it was barely controlled chaos. This Stone Age family broke barriers, bones, and broadcasting standards while teaching us that sometimes history repeats itself, especially after the bombs drop. Until next time, remember, we'll have a gay old time, assuming we survive the radiation. Yabba dabba. Don't forget to subscribe.